Welcome to the Aaron L Show. We live August 25th, Sunday. We're going to get on here and talk a little bit about the presidential election. We're going to talk about the constitutional rights, and we're going to talk about gun laws, whether they're fair or unfair. So we're going to start it off by talking about the gun laws. And earlier when I was on live, I was talking back and forth with a few people that was basically brought up the situation about your constitutional rights and how is it in different states for certain people who has throughout their life committed a felony crime and lost their right to bear arm, and how long does it take for a person that has committed a crime to get their gun rights back, and is it fair for someone who has committed a felony, um, the length of time that it takes to get your gun rights back, given how violent and dangerous it is out here in your community. So actually, what the conversation was about is that if you have committed a crime in the United States, or let's just say California, for instance, because that's the state that I'm in. If you have committed a crime in California, you basically lose your gun rights, and you basically lose the right to bear arms. Now, that's kind of a tough situation because let's say hypothetically you are someone who lives in California or the surrounding states and you committed a crime and you lost your right to bear arms, and you get in a situation where you need to defend yourself, but you lost your constitutional right to bear arms. Is that fair or not? And how long is fair before you should be able to get your gun rights back? So that was a pretty decent topic that we was talking about earlier. Just how long would it take to get your rights to bear arm back after committing a crime, and how long is it fair that you have to wait so long after committing a crime to be able to bear arm again? Now that's kind of a sticky situation because you could say, okay, hypothetically, you got somebody that has committed a felony before and lost their constitutional right to bear arm, and you get put in a situation where you need to defend yourself and you don't have the right to bear arm, then you kind of, I mean, it's a tough situation. I'm not for sure how long it takes once you, if you committed a crime in California, I'm not for sure how long it takes for you to get the right to bear arm back. But at the same time, it's like, what if you have committed a felony crime in your life before, and you get in a situation to where you have to defend yourself. It's a life or death situation, but you've committed a crime in California before, so you don't have the right to bear arms. Then what do you do? How do you defend yourself in a situation where you might need to take deadly force to get yourself out that situation? If you were to, let's say hypothetically, have a weapon on you and you were to defend yourself with deadly force, and you was rightfully legally able to do that because of the situation, um would you, because you were a felon, they probably would charge you, because yes, you were in a situation where you needed to use deadly force to get out of it. You probably were justified by doing that, but they probably would flip it and say, you were a convicted felon when you had the weapon, so they probably would charge you for that. So that was a conversation earlier that, in the United States, if you do commit a felony offense, you do lose some of your constitutional rights. I don't know what other things you would lose within the Constitution besides the right to bear arms. Now, you might do lose a few more of your constitutional rights. I did say I was going to go look up some of the laws on the Constitution and see what else you would lose besides your right to bear arms, but you will lose some of your rights on the Constitution by committing a felony. Hey, from Indonesia, how you doing, man? Dude got them up on for you. Oh man, hey, thank you. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, what we were talking about is we're just talking about politics. We was talking about the presidential race. And when I was going live earlier, we were talking about the right to bear arm, and how if you are a convicted felon, you can lose your right to bear arm, and how long does it take in different states to get your rights back to bear arm once you have committed a crime and lost your rights. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, that's what was the conversation. And then earlier when I was on live, I was definitely talking about how Oprah Winfrey has just she's backing Kamala Harris for the presidential race. So we were talking about stuff like that. And hey, what's up, Rod? I see you, man. Um, Donkey, I see you, man. Kamala for 2024, exactly. It's a lot of people pushing Kamala Harris. I appreciate you guys while you come in on my live. I appreciate if you guys give me a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, but we're just talking about politics. We're talking about the presidential campaign race, how the Democrats have a star-studded lineup. They have the Obamas, Clintons. They have Oprah Winfrey backing them. They have the coach to the Golden State Warriors backing them. And when you live in California, given California is a Democratic state, it makes it almost seem like the Democrats are winning a race. So it's kind of like makes you feel like the Republicans are really not doing that good in this state. But at the same time, California is a Democratic state. No matter how hard Trump pushes in California, he's definitely not going to win this state because it's a Democratic state already. So you won't really see a Democrat, just like a Democratic presidential candidate, you won't see them campaigning too hard in a Republican state. So it's just, that's just how it is. But what we're looking for right now is we know California is a Democratic state. We know Texas is a Republican state. But what we're looking for this presidential election is the swing states. Those are the states that we're looking for, because I believe that once we start to see both candidates campaigning in the same state, then we will start to see the swing states, because you got the electoral votes. And certain states are already going to be their electoral votes are already going to go to a certain candidate. So once we get down to those swing states where it's really not a Democratic state and it's really not a Republican state, it's almost 50-50 both ways, then both presidential candidates are going to have to get to that state, and they're going to have to campaign their hardest to try to swing that state either way, because it's only going to be about 4 or 5 or 6 swing states that determine the presidential election. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm for Trump too, man. Trump 2024, that's for sure. Hey, yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you come in on my live, could you give me a like, please? Subscribe to the channel. This is the Aaron L. Show. We're talking about politics. We're talking about the presidential race. I am a Trump supporter, and I am, I'm campaigning for Donald Trump, but like I said before, I believe that both candidates have the ability to do the job. They would not be in the position that they are in if they weren't capable of doing the job. I just feel like myself that Trump would do a better job than Kamala Harris. That's just how I feel, but Kamala Harris, she's definitely capable of doing the job. She's definitely capable. So that's just what we're talking about. And then we had a conversation earlier about, if you commit a felony offense in the United States, that you lose the right to bear arms, and you lose some other of your constitutional rights. And that's kind of like was a struggle with somebody that I was talking to. They were trying to figure out, once you commit a felony offense and you lose your right to bear arms, how long would it take for you to get your right to bear arms back? And I'm just asking a few other questions. Do you feel like Donald Trump is winning this race right now? Do you feel like the Democratic Party is kind of closing the gap? Do you feel like it's a 50-50 race? What do you feel like this presidential election race? Where are we at right now? We're about 72, 71 days away from the election. And where do you feel like we at right now? Because the Democratic Party, I feel like they're making a major push right now. I feel like they have a lot of celebrities that are household names backing Kamala Harris. I believe that that's going to sway some people in her direction. I don't know if it'd be enough for her to pull off the election, because Donald Trump is definitely a popular figure and he a polarizing figure in other states. And Donald Trump, he's definitely has a lot of people backing him. He has the whole Republican Party behind him, and they definitely had the money to push Donald Trump through. Let's look at some of the messages. Depending on the felony charge, exactly, Isaac. It does depend on the felony charge how long you're gonna have your right to bear arms. So basically, what you're saying, Isaac, is if it's a certain felony charge, you will never be able to gain your rights to bear arms again. Is that what you're telling me? If you commit a certain crime, you will never be able to get your right to bear arms again. So that's basically saying if you commit certain offenses in the United States, you will lose that constitutional right forever, basically. And that's pretty tough because what if you ever get in a situation where you need to defend yourself in a violent manner and you're justified for doing it, but because let's say 5, 10 years ago you lost your right to bear arms, then you basically will be committing a crime by defending yourself. And I feel like to a certain extent that's kind of unfair, but that's kind of how it is. Should ask Hunter. Yeah, that's probably how it is, but that's a tough situation right there because you could be justified by your actions, but given your past history, you will be arrested. Yeah, Trump's to go for sure. Yeah, I see. That is a good answer. Yeah, exactly. You would be justified by your actions, but at the same time, because of your past history, you definitely will be charged for even bearing arm. And that's just how it is. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about politics. We have a couple of things going overseas. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's still it's still a war overseas. I saw it on the news. I'm really not too in depth of what's going on, but I know that Russia has had some of their country invaded, and they're definitely it's going to take it back by force. So it's a lot of things going on, and the presidential election definitely hangs in the balance of that because it could get to a situation where America needs to go over there and clean up a mess. Because that's what America does. We clean up a mess. If there's something going on overseas, and we're back in that country, we definitely will back them up to the fullest and go over there and clean up a mess, or we will assist into giving them some firepower to deal with the problem. And that's one thing I noticed about America. We might not go over there and get our hands dirty and fight a war with the country, but we definitely will give that country the essential things that they need to battle against a force. And that's what we've been doing in this war in Russia. We definitely have been giving the other country money and weapons to fight the war. I appreciate you guys for coming in and checking out my live. This is the Aaron L. Show. Could you please give me a like on the channel, subscribe if you feel, and we're going to keep rolling along talking about the election. We're talking about some of the constitutional rights you lose by committing crimes in the United States. And we were talking about the border policy, how Donald Trump, one of his policies is to build that wall on the border. I kind of feel like, that is an agenda that he was trying to do the last time he was president. He didn't really get it done, I think, because of COVID. But if he is reelected, he's definitely going to get that wall finished at the border. I would like to see some of you guys' opinion and just what you think about the border wall getting built up. What do you think about is it too many people coming into the United States? Should they tighten up on the immigration policies? Do you feel like the people that's here should be able to stay and everybody else should have harsher rules on them? Because my opinion is I'm a truck driver. I came from a produce company, but I'm at a company that just moves freight now. But when I was with the produce company, I really saw how the Latino community, they definitely play a pivotal role in the produce industry. They the ones that package and pick and do all the stuff in the fields that get the produce to your table. So it's kind of hard for us to say that, what, we want to block off the border. We don't want no more Latinos or Guatemalans or, whatever races are coming across that border, because they're definitely coming across the border and they're working and they're assisting, the things that we use get to our tables to eat and feed our kids. So we definitely have to kind of look at that before we just look at every Latino as they're running across the border and they're coming over here committing crimes. You have a lot of people that's coming across the border from Mexico and Guatemala, and they're coming over here working hard. They're coming over here for the American dream. It's definitely opportunity for that community and society to come over here and have an opportunity, because they definitely come over here and play a pivotal role in the produce industry, in the warehouse industry, customer service. They're working in hotels. They're working a lot of fast food restaurants. They're working in the construction industry. They are electricians. I mean, they came over here and became plumbers, and they basically came over here, and so a lot of them have got the American dream. So, when the word starts to spread that the opportunity is in America that great, you will see a lot of people come over here and try to get that opportunity. Now, are there Latinos that are crossing the border and committing, doing illegal activities? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's people that's living in America, been here committing crimes and stuff like that. But at the same time, you can't sit back and stereotype the Latino community and say, hey, we need to block off the border because 90% of the Latinos that's coming over here to America is committing crimes. They're not committing crimes. A lot of them are coming over here working hard. Now some of them are, by fault are not able to speak the language, so they're coming over here struggling. But you have some that are coming over here and they adapt very well, or they come over here and already have family that's here and established. So they come over here and the transition is real quick for them to get on their feet and get the ball rolling. And I feel like that's the opportunity that America presents to them. So I'm with Trump. I'm rocking with Trump. Trump 2024. But at the same time, I feel like he should get the border tightened up. He need to, because more than people coming across that border. But then at the same time, I feel like the people that's here, they deserve the opportunity to stay over here if they're doing the right thing. Now, if you get over here and you're committing crimes, then yeah, you need to be out of America. That's just how it goes. Let's take a question. I got Isaac X. I see you, Isaac S. I'm not against illegal immigration here, but I am against them not trying to become a citizen the legal way. So we know you're here. Exactly. Yeah, that's one thing that we can't talk about, is that it is a lot of people coming over here and they're, because when they do the census and stuff like that, go door to door and just ask you how many people's in your home. You have a lot of people that know they're illegal. They don't have their paperwork, and they definitely don't want to just tell you exactly how many people is there. They're fearful. They don't speak the language like that. They don't understand why you're doing the census. And then the legal way that they need to become a citizen is they're going to have to learn how to speak the American language fluent, and they're going to have to learn a few traditional things about the country. I'm not for sure exactly what's asked of them to become a full legal citizen, but it is a few things, and you need to have a few dollars, if I'm not mistaken. So it is a couple of hurdles you're gonna have to kind of jump to get to the legal status legally. And yeah, I think a lot of them are struggling with that, but at the same time, they probably get here and start working, and they just lose sight of becoming a legal citizen second they get here, because they're coming over here to work and try to take care of themselves, and they probably just kind of get lost in the sauce because America's moving so fast, time's going so fast. You're working every day with the hustle and bustle, man. You can get over here and immediately forget you're illegal. Basically, you just start working and just slipped your mind and you're trying to survive. Stephen Davis, I see you. It's our enemies coming across. ISIS, Chinese, etc. Exactly. It is more than just a message coming across. And I was thinking that too, is that you can come up through Mexico from a lot of different countries, or you can fly in from other countries and work your way up through Mexico. So we probably do. I mean, you never know. We probably have spies and all type of stuff that came across the border. And the border is definitely leaving the country wide open for attack. It's definitely doing that. Yeah, these liberals. Yeah, man. I never really understand when they say liberals. I mean, I understand what they're saying about it, but I never knew the true definition. They have to pay cartel coyotes to cross. They all have ties, and you can't cross without over in cartel toast. Yeah, exactly. I think I've seen a documentary about something about that. That they're making people pay to get across, and you just can't come up through Mexico and just walk straight through the border. So the cartels, they definitely have a major influence when it comes to things crossing the border, because I seen something. I was watching a documentary about avocados, and they were talking about the avocado industry, and I never knew that the avocado industry coming out of Mexico was $1 billion industry. But what the cartels are doing is they're basically when avocados are ready to harvest and they're trying to send them across the border by the truckload, the cartels are right there blocking the trucks from leaving, and they're putting a tax. They're putting a tax on the owner of the avocado fields before they'll let them push the avocados across to the United States. So the cartels, they definitely have a major influence on what's going on coming across that border. But like I say, the United States do too. Don't get it twisted. If we can go overseas and find somebody like Bin Laden in a whole nother country, how we can't secure a border that's right here in our own country? Trump or Harris? I'm with Trump. And I'll ask the question to the people that's watching. I have 19 people watching. I appreciate you guys. If you like and subscribe to the channel, it's free. Just hit a like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free. When I do come on live, I won't be bugging you. I'll definitely be trying to have a topic to talk about that's on a mature level. And I appreciate you guys. I like Trump. I have a friend that came illegally and both were held in detention. They are good people. I can't vouch for, but they told me there's so very bad ones coming across. Yeah, exactly. It is a lot of people that definitely come over here for the opportunity that America presents for people, and some of them get caught coming across. You know what I mean? So they're definitely being held in the detention centers. I heard about that, and I heard that they were basically giving a lot of them court dates and letting them into America, and then they have to come sometime later to go to court to figure out what the situation is going to be, given that they came across the border illegal. If they say they bad, then they bad, folk. Yeah, not really. I mean, because you can't really tell what a person's intentions are until they show you. So just because a person comes across the border illegal and they can't speak the American language, you can't really just say, hey, this person was going to come over here with bad intentions. This person could have been trying to get to America to have a better life. So I truly believe that. But, we are American citizens. And, a lot of people will say that the Latino community is coming across the border to take opportunities away from us and our kids. But at the same time, if we were using those opportunities, there wouldn't be opportunities to come over here and get. So the things that they're coming over here and doing, it's a lot of people in the American population that don't want to do it. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all would not go pick the fields. The Latinos are saying they bad. They're bad people. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I have a Latino friend that he's an American. I told him, we worked together for a few years, and I told him, hey, I ain't really never seen you go back home. How can you go back over there? And he said that he's been in America since he was a kid, and the majority of his family is already in the United States. So he really don't go back because there's nobody over there he knows, and he hasn't been there in 10, 15 years. So it's a lot of them that's just Americans. They can't go back. There's no one there for them. Why would they lie about it? They know bad people. I'm not really for sure. They're probably not lying. They probably definitely do know some bad people that's coming across this border all the time, bro. Literally, we paying taxes for them. They have free health care and more rights than we do. Exactly, man. I mean, it's unfair. I mean, you have to think about just in America, it's really not the Latinos. We can't blame them all. They are using some of our tax money to make sure that the Latinos have health care and food stamps and welfare. But I mean, you probably have somebody that lives next door to you. You know what I mean? And you probably bought your house. You're probably working paying a $1,500, $2,000 a month mortgage, and your neighbor has Section 8 and she's living better than you. You're getting up paying your mortgage, struggling all through the month, and they're basically living off of $200 a month rent, staying next door to you in the same community and getting $700 a month food stamps, and their refrigerators filled all month. And you're getting them going every day to work struggling. So America, it is unfair in certain situations like that. Stephen Davis, you must pay no taxes and send money home when we all pay taxes. Exactly. A lot of them do that, and that's one thing America is having a problem with. And that's another reason why I believe that they are trying to block the border off, because you do have a lot of people that's come over here to this country, sucking this country dry. They coming over here working really hard, making a lot of the American dollars, and then they sending it out of the country. So that money never gets circulated back here. It's circulating in another country. So they're basically sucking a country dry. Plus, they will take the chance to make us fourth class citizens. Yeah, I mean, if we continue to let the country run down, we're all participating in running this country down. I mean, you have to think about that. We're all participating in that, because we're stopping at fast food restaurants, we're eating our meal, dropping the bag out the window, littering up the city. We leaving the city to clean that up. So we all need to participate in making this a better place. We can't just point the finger, because sometimes you got to point the finger at yourself too, because I'm not perfect and nobody's perfect. So before we start pointing the finger at one person, we need to turn around and point it at ourselves, because we're making some mistakes too and we're not doing everything the right way. But shout out to the Latino community. I got a lot of Latino friends. My kids go to school with Latino kids. Some of their best friends are Latinos. And I know a lot of families that I see every day dropping their kids off at school and picking their kids up. And I've been, watching them pick and drop their kids off for years, all the way until our kids are almost out of school. So it's a lot of people that's been here a long time, hardworking people. Go home, clean up their neighborhood, buy a house, keep the house looking well, keep the community looking right. So, but on the other hand, you do have a lot of them that's tied in with the cartel, and they're, it's dirty money, and they're pumping drugs in the community, and fentanyl, and marijuana, and ecstasy pills, and all the things that they're doing. So I mean, but we can't stop that. All we can do is try to live life right for ourselves. I know it was all my fault. Racism never existed. Yeah, it's not really nobody's fault, man. America, racism is an old tradition that was kind of built in America, But racism is just, people are in position to be racist. You know what I mean? So that's just, if you wasn't in position, then you wouldn't be able to be racist. We can stop that. Yeah, you definitely can stop racism, but it's gonna take one person at a time, you know, and that's kind of how it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of illegal immigrants over here, and that's one thing Trump said. When Trump said he become president, he's definitely going to, um, he's going to take the what is it, the ISIS or something like that, the people that he I forget what they call them, but they go around and they make sure that you're legal, and if you're not legal, they put you in the detention centers and they figure out your immigration status. As Americans, we cannot go to any other country in the world and receive free health or shelter, food, etc. Yeah, exactly. America is the only country that presents that opportunity for somebody that's not a citizen. And that's a tough situation. But America do give people the opportunities that other countries don't give. They definitely do that, man. This is a great country. It definitely is, But one thing you got to realize about America, it's in a competitive country. It's definitely a competitive country. And if you really can't wrap your head around the competition it takes to be successful in this country, even if you are a citizen, you will fail. This is a competitive country. That's just like if you're looking for a job and you go to a job interview, it's going to be two, three people there, or maybe four or five people there, and they're only looking for two candidates. So it's a competition. You need to go into the office and interview well. You guys all have similar qualifications, and you have to talk and sell yourself to this company so that when you leave with those other six people, given it's only two positions, you get the call back. And that's just how it is right now. It's a competitive market in the United States. What's up, Rob Carter? I see you, man. I ain't gonna take offense to that. We need to take care of our own first. Exactly, we do. We need to take care of the American citizens. We cannot let people come across this border or come into this country and give them an opportunity that the American citizens don't have. But you also have to realize that you have a lot of bigger companies like Google, Facebook. They've been giving green cards to people coming over from India and hiring them to do the computer science and the data entry and all the things that a lot of these big social media powerhouses need done, because it's a lot of Americans that's not going to school for computer science or are not even qualified to do those positions. And yeah, game might be over. Yeah, game might be over, but it's not over, man. We still in this race. I know I'm motivated. I'm motivated. I'm in this race. I understand America is a competitive country, and I'm gonna have to push a little harder to get to where I want to be, man. I appreciate you guys enjoying my live tonight. If you wouldn't mind, I appreciate if you give a like to the channel, subscribe to the channel. This is the Aaron L Show. We're gonna come on here talking about politics, religion, border control, and we're definitely gonna follow the presidential election. I'm gonna interact with people on my live, and if you leave a comment, I'm definitely going to read your comment, and I'm definitely going to try to give you the best answer I can. Hopefully, if I can't answer the question, somebody in the comments will check your question out and try to give you a response on it. I got Stephen Jackson. John Davis. Sorry about that. We are the richest country in the world, and I'm not talking wealth and resources. We are, and that's one thing I always wonder, why America buys so much oil. Not to get off topic, but why we buy so much oil from other countries when we have oil ourselves? Rob Carter, did your friends call you to bed when you were a kid? Let me see. No, 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 no. Rob Carter. See, you got to give me a like for that one. If you ain't like the channel, go and give me a like, man. When you catting off, hey, when you catting off on the comments, are you saying something that's off topic? Go and like the channel, go and subscribe. You know what I mean? Because I don't like to block nobody. When you get on here, you kind of off topic, and so if you're gonna be off topic and you just on here enjoying yourself, writing your comments for your entertainment, that's cool. I'm gonna let you rock, but at the same time, put a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel, man, and help me out with the channel by getting monetized and getting my watch hours up. What we got going on, lots of time is about refinery. They want to be like us, but many of them hate us. Exactly, they do want to be like Americans, but they do hate us. But one thing I've noticed is I was watching a channel about people going overseas, and one guy said when he went overseas, that was the first time he felt like an American. And it was kind of funny to hear him say that, but he said the first time he felt like an American is when he went overseas, because as he walked around that country, everybody that seen him and realized that he was an American thought he was wealthy just because he's from America. So being an American does have some form of respect, but just because we're here in this country, we probably don't see it or feel it. But definitely, if you go over to another country, and second you get off that plane, man, they definitely will look at you, because we'll say we're struggling, but you have to realize we have Nike hats on that cost $20, or you might have a shirt on that costs $40, and we'll still say we're struggling, But in other countries, if you're struggling, you won't even have that. You know what I mean? So that's one thing about America. Being broke in America is not the same as being broke in other countries. It's just economics. The government isn't saying, "Oh, you companies have to import blah amount." Oil companies are manipulating. They move oil around and know when it's easier to ship. Exactly. But what I was saying about that is that we buy tons of oil from other countries when we actually have the oil here ourselves. So I kind of think about that. Are we just basically buying their oil up to dry them out and saving ours for a rainy day? Or what is our reasoning for buying so much oil on the world stage when we actually could just pump the oil here in our country and don't really have to spend so much money out, then produce domestically? Exactly. That's what we really need to do. We need to produce it ourselves. This is the Aaron L. Show. If you're coming in and you just getting into the channel, we're talking about politics. We're talking about the presidential election. We're talking about the economy. We kind of just, we're just having an open conversation about a bunch of things. The border. We're talking about global policies and stuff like that. And I always ask this question when I go on live, because we're in a presidential election, and it's going to be a hot race. It's going to get ready to heat up. But give me your opinion about, do you feel like if Kamala Harris wins the presidential election, will a lot of these overseas countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Saudi Arabia, will they respect a woman being head of state of the United States? And will they still do business with America as usual? Because a lot of these overseas countries, they really don't give the opportunity to women that we give here in America. So I'm definitely wondering, will Kamala Harris struggle on the world stage when she has to do trades and a lot of the global political policies that America has in place? Will she struggle with that? I understand that she's already the vice president, and I'm pretty sure that she has already been put in a position where she has to go talk to Putin, or she has to go talk to the North Korean president and stuff like that. Or I'm not for sure if she has had issues with doing that, or have she done it. But what is your opinion of a woman being head of state, the president of the United States, and then having to go overseas and talk about the American policies to these other countries that actually don't give women the same opportunity that America do? She gets in, and trust me, World War III. That's Stephen Jackson, Rob Carter. People who are like, why are importing oil just don't understand the size of U.S., the economics of shipping oil, or refinery capability. Exactly. It probably is a lot easier for us to just ship in oil from other countries. You're definitely right, because the shipping routes and everything else is already in place. So basically, for us to transition to start to do refine the oil and do everything in this country at a mass amount that the American public uses gas and oil, it probably will put a strain on a lot of these refineries trying to get the oil out and distribute it out. It probably will be a tough process. So no matter if America does start digging in their own country for oil, we probably would always have to ship some form of oil in. And then I also, while I'm giving you an answer back on that question, I was also wondering. I know it's not an endless supply of oil, and I know eventually the oil is going to run out. Do you think that's why they're trying to implement the electric cars at the rate they're doing? Because they know we're getting close to where there's actually going to be no more oil, maybe in the next 20 to 30 years. So they're trying to get the ball rolling on this electrical, you know, power storage and electric cars and everything, because they know in the next 20 to 30 years to come, there will be no more gasoline, because the world produces gasoline. We're basically taking the blood of the earth and we're using it as a resource. And eventually, there will not be no more oil to dig out of the earth. We ship more oil out than we use and bring in. Exactly, America. But at the same time, you have certain countries that really don't have the capability of digging in the ground and producing oil. So I mean, to a certain extent, I believe America is shipping oil out to our allies, kind of like to make sure that they have some, because you really don't. If someone is your ally, you really don't want them to do business with your enemy. But that's one thing when it comes to oil. You kind of, if you don't have the resources to get to the oil, you might have to do business with your enemy in order to get oil. I got 9 people watching my live. If you are not in California, I appreciate it if you throw what state you're in up there, so I can know what people I am reaching. When Trump was in, we were the largest producer of energy. No, Elon said there is plenty of oil left in the world, hundreds of years. Yeah, it probably is hundreds of years of oil left, probably, because I don't think no one could just gauge how much oil is left in the United States or just around the world. But they have been producing oil for, I don't know, man, what, 50 years, if not longer. Because 50 years only take us back to the 70s, and they were driving cars in the 70s. So maybe 70 years, in the 50s, the 40s. I mean, they've been producing oil for a long time. Shout out to Las Vegas. Las Vegas in the building. We was just out there in Las Vegas at the Coca-Cola Classic basketball tournament at the Las Vegas Convention Center. We just was out there in July, man. I had a good time in Vegas. Can't never leave Vegas with no money, but I definitely had a good time. Las Vegas is the only place you go to lose all your money and still enjoy yourself. That's the only place you can go to and lose every dime you got in your pocket, but still left and said you had a good time. That's one thing about Las Vegas. Shout out to Vegas, man. If you is on this live and you are not from California, tell me what state you're from so I can give you a shout out to your state. I appreciate you guys interacting with me on my live. If you haven't gave a like to the channel and you're just coming in, I appreciate you guys. If you put a like on this channel, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get this channel monetized and working on getting 500 subscribers. I think I had about 320, and I'm trying to get my watch hours up to 3,000. I think I had like 30, 35. I'm struggling on the watch hours. So I definitely have to go live. I definitely have to have people interacting with me, watching my live. I definitely have to talk and put my work in. So I'm definitely trying to get on here. But the one thing that I want to talk about is just the presidential election. That's what I talk about. Sometimes I do go into my life story. How am I where I'm at? And where am I trying to go? So I'll get into a little bit of that. Just to talk about off subject. I've just found your channel. It's good, but yeah, I appreciate you, Davis. Yeah, I try to get on here and I try to interact with people, man, and just talk to them. I talk about the policies in presidential election. Sometimes I tell my story. I was in Sacramento today. My son had a football game. They won, so we just got in. But I said that I wanted to go live and just put my time in on YouTube, because I'm trying to get my channel built up. So I need to get on here and just talk to people, interact with people, tell people about my story. And I am a truck driver. I used to work for a company called Coast Tropical, and I was at that company for about 6, 7 years. Real good company, produce company. I had just got my truck driver's license, and I went there. Really didn't know how to drive that good, but they gave me an opportunity. So I went there and I drove bobtail. Eventually got in a Class A truck, drove a 48-foot tractor trailer reefer. And I really enjoyed that company. And I should have, well, I ain't gonna say I should have stayed there, but I just had another opportunity that presented itself, which was the garbage company. And I had been putting applications in off of Indeed and online and just researching other companies that's going to pay a lot more. And the garbage company had called me. And I went there, and the garbage company paid maybe like $10, $12 more an hour than what I was making. So I jumped at the opportunity, but when I got over there, I didn't realize the strenuous work that a garbage driver does daily. Just to in and out the truck, in and out the truck. The smell of the trash, the length of time you work daily. And I was able to get up to par with the standard that they wanted you to work, but in the process, I had an accident while I was on probation. And they have a 6 month probation over there at the garbage company. I think I got to about 4 months and had an accident, and they let me go, man. So I'm with another trucking company now. I'm not back with the garbage company. I'm trying to get back over there. Hopefully, I can get back over there because the money is just something you're not going to get anywhere else but the garbage company. But I'm at another trucking company. I'm making pretty decent wages, and I'm kind of happy where I'm at. I've been I've been there probably about 2 months. I have one more month on probation, but at the same time, that's a little bit about my story. I'll get into it a little more in depth, but that's just a backstory on me. My real name is Aaron. My last name starts with an L, so that's why the show's Aaron L Show. And I'm just on here, man, just trying to entertain people, give people something to watch, have some content. I'm just a regular guy, truck driver, local in the Bay Area, and I'm just I got kids that play sports. So, like I said, today we went to Sacramento. We just got in. I was about to eat my dinner, but I said, you know what? If you want to be successful at something and you want it to work for you, you have to put your time in. So I said, let me go live. I went live earlier, but I said I'm gonna go live again because I just want to make sure that I'm putting the work in that I need to put in on this for me to be able to get what I want out of it. What I have right here, nice, Aaron. Thanks for that. Yeah, exactly. Amen. I felt left out. Oh man, you ain't gotta feel left out, T. Really, you my boy, man. You know what time it is, man. You know what I mean. I invite you right now. You know how we rock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But at the same time, man, that was just a little bit backstory on me, man. Like I said, I'm a local truck driver in the Bay Area, and like I said, I had a small stint at the garbage company, and now I'm with another company, just running freight. Good company, been there 2 years. But like I said, that's a little backstory on me, man. And but we basically gonna talk about the presidential campaign because that's something that I feel like is going to it's going to heat up as we get closer to the presidential election. You're definitely going to see um, hopefully we see Donald Trump be the president. If we don't see Donald Trump being the president, I see a lot of people saying the country's going to go left. Oh yeah, for sure, T. I appreciate you, brother. You know how we do it, man. I'm popping a little bit. Let me see what you're saying, Stephen Davis. I played college ball at the University of San Diego. Exactly, the University of San Diego. We was down there in San Diego probably about we was down there probably about 2, 3 years ago playing some football. I forget what high school we was at, but I know we went to the beach. We went to the beach in San Diego, and it's like a boardwalk, sort of like got rides and stuff for the kids. And I know they got this one thing you can go up in the sky and strap yourself in, and then you can slide across the whole little park right there on like a rope. And they got like a swimming pool in there, and then they got like an arcade off to the side. So yeah, we definitely been to San Diego, man. Me and my boys, we done traveled all around playing football. Yeah, we drove up to San Diego from California. I think that was about a man. It had to been every bit about a 9, 10 hour drive. Boy, we was on the freeway a while trying to get to San Diego. I remember was taking about Tesla company, talking about Tesla company. Yeah, I was. I definitely was talking about Tesla. And I talk about a lot of stuff, man. And I think probably about 2 days ago, I was on here talking about Kathleen Woods, and she was talking about, we was just talking about investing. I will get on here at times to talk about investing, and Kathleen Woods was talking about disruptive technologies. I don't know if you guys are really, too in tune with Kathleen Woods, but I definitely follow her, and I definitely follow Warren Buffett. But Kathleen Woods was talking about disruptive technologies, and when she talk about that, it's the same thing as saying, if you guys are old enough, you remember cassette tapes, and when they came out with CDs and cassette tapes, people weren't using them no more. So we could just call the CDs a disruptive technology, And she said that when you invest in the stock market, you basically want to look for disruptive technology because that's where a lot of people make their money at. If you look at when Uber came out, the Uber app, and everybody started driving for Uber, and what Uber did to the taxi cab industry. Uber, you could consider that a disruptive technology. So, she was just talking about artificial intelligence and robotics, and she was talking about genotherapy and gene sequencing, and the company CRISPR. They're going to basically they're going to be a monster of a company once they start doing genotherapy, because they could take your genomes. Let's say you have first stage of cancer or something like that. The CRISPR technology will be able to look into your genes and see which one of your genes has basically morphed into cancer, and that genotherapy can separate that gene and eliminate it so that you'll be cancer free. So it's just a lot of things that they was she be talking about, man. But like I said, at times I'll get on here and I'll talk about investing in the stock market. I'm basically going to really follow the presidential campaign. Like I said, I am a Trump supporter. I do support Trump, and I'm definitely but like I said, I also, when I do say I support Trump, I'm also going to turn around and say that I feel like Kamala Harris can do the job too, because the Democratic Party would not have put her in position if she wasn't capable of doing the job. But I just believe that Trump will be able to do the job better. I believe because Trump comes from a financial background. Trump was able to rise to fame and power because of his the way that he's able to work financially, a lot of the business adventures, a lot of his, I believe that the way that he works financially got Trump in position that he in. And I believe with the high interest rates and everything that we got going on in the United States right now, a lot of the trade agreements overseas for China, and a lot of the import export that the United States do, I think having Trump at the table will basically benefit this country a lot more than having Kamala Harris as president. And I just believe that if we were, I mean, just like let's take companies like, let's blend the presidential election in with a little bit of the stock market. Let's look at a company like Nvidia. Now, a lot of these major chip companies, they get a lot of their stuff from Taiwan. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but at the same time, China believes that Taiwan is part of China. So China is, but Taiwan is kind of went to war with China, I believe, years ago and became independent. But China wants Taiwan to be back part of the Chinese um, country. So, but America, we do a lot of business with Taiwan. You have companies like Apple, Nvidia, AMD. I'm pretty sure Facebook, Microsoft, all these big computer companies, they definitely shipping in a boatload of their chips from Taiwan. So what if, let's just say hypothetically, if Kamala Harris does wins the presidential election and then China decides to invade Taiwan, can Kamala Harris handle something like that? Can she handle something like that? Can she really handle something like that? Stephen Davis, that's why Trump is bringing on Musk and RFK. People need to open eyes. Exactly. I seen him bring on JFK. I definitely saw Trump do that. Trump, no, I, I don't know, but I think is a bad idea for USA. So basically, what you're saying is you think it's a bad idea for the USA if China invades Taiwan to even get in that business. We should just leave that alone. You feel like that's not even none of our business. Not a political businessman. That's why they hate him. Exactly. They do. They don't like Trump. They really don't like Trump. But at the same time, you can't say Trump isn't a shrewd businessman. Trump is definitely a shrewd businessman, and he definitely had to step on a few people to get to where he's at. Yes, that's the point. Exactly. I definitely understand that. We shouldn't yeah, but that's one thing about the United States. We always in everybody business. That's the United States. That's how we do. We are in everybody business. Anything happen around the world, the United States are pointing their cameras and giving their opinion. So that's how our country is, man. We're very nosy, but at the same time, I think that the United States monitor everything that's going on around the world because they know that a lot of these countries have nuclear weapons, so they don't want something to go on in this country. I mean, they don't want something to go on overseas where they have a huge war, pop off a nuclear weapon, and it damage the world. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Russia is its own country, North Korea is its own country, Iran, Saudi Arabia, them are their own countries, but we all are in the same bubble. We are in the world together. So if they were to shoot something in the sky and damage the sky, it would affect us. We understand that's their country, that's their territory, and we shouldn't be in their business. But at the same time, if they do something to damage the air, the world, we're actually breathing the same air. Yeah, it's probably blowing over there in their country, but it's eventually it circulates over here to us. So we definitely have to monitor the world because we're inside the world. Their country is their country, but we need to monitor the world. So I might have to take a step back from just saying we're in their business. Look at the last 4 years. What has she done? Yeah, I definitely understand that. Kamala Harris, she's been VP for 4 years. And man, we starve and beat, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like people is saying that she's basically gonna come in and implement the same policies, and gas is still gonna be high, eggs are still high, milk is gonna still be high, and a lot of different things like that. But I mean, at the same time, um, she was vice president for Joe Biden. She definitely, even if Joe Biden was still in office and he was going to run against Trump himself, he still has the opportunity to run again. Once he wins the election, you're going to be able to run again. Now, if they put a candidate that can beat you, then you ain't going to be president no more. And that'll definitely show that the American public was not happy with the job you did for the last 4 years. But we can almost say if Kamala Harris, given she's running on Joe Biden ticket, if she was to go up against Donald Trump this presidential election and pull it off, then it would say, hey, you have a lot of people that probably wasn't happy with her policies. But at the same time, you could say it was enough people felt like she still had some good to do and voted her in, which I don't think is going to happen. I really, really, really don't think it's going to happen. And my new president, too, is a bad idea for my country. Yeah, what country are you in, man? Talk to me. I don't know what country. Are you in the United States or are you in another country? I think you did tell me. I just the messages went up so far I couldn't even see what you put. I'll look at it later, man. I usually scroll down all the messages and just check out what people are saying throughout the live. But yeah, let me know what country you in, man. I don't even really know how to pronounce your name, so I don't want to mess it up. But I do appreciate you for interacting with me, man. You've been definitely a sport. Yeah, man. So that's just the topics we talking about, man. I'm gonna run this on for an hour. That's kind of my thing. I gotta work in the morning, but I'm gonna stay on about 8 more minutes, man, to ramble on. I get on here and I ramble for my hour. Sir, sorry for my English, but I try to learn more. I'm from oh, you in Mexico, Guadalajara? Yeah, you in Guadalajara, man. I understand that. That's Guadalajara, Mexico. I definitely understand that. Yeah, man. Yeah, don't worry about that, man. I appreciate you interacting with me on my channel, man. Shout out to Guadalajara, man. I exactly know where you at, man. I've heard of that country before. Yeah, so yeah, man. But just back to it. Yeah, so y'all country. One thing I will say about the Mexicans over there in Guatemala and stuff like that, when y'all get a president, it's kind of like the majority of the citizens over there are kind of like happy with it. They win a majority votes. It usually don't be like here. You usually have one person that's very popular amongst the people, and they vote that person in, and the country be kind of happy with the president that they have. Okay, man, I appreciate you, Marco. I appreciate you for clowning me like that, man. Go and give me a like on my channel, man. I got 14 likes, man. I mean, 13 likes. Go and give me a like for that, Marco. You coming in clowning me, Marco. Go and give me a like, man. That's my rule on my channel. If you want to jump in on my comments and you want to troll, you got to give a like to the channel, man. Go on and show me some love and give me a like. If you're not, you're not keeping it solid, man. Yeah, but like I said, man, yeah, that's one thing about Mexico, man. When you see their new president get voted into office, man, you see the whole country jumping up and down in the middle of the streets. Everybody is happy with the decision. That's one thing about our presidential election. When Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden 4 years ago, Donald Trump was basically campaigning as he was cheated. Donald Trump felt like they were in Pennsylvania. I think it had came down to like 2 states. And it did seem like it was some funny business going on because I remember watching the TV and it seemed like they were waiting and waiting to get the last few votes out of a couple of counties. And they were struggling to get the votes, and they were saying that they're having trouble counting them. And then the votes came out, and it didn't seem right. And then they said they about to order a recount, and it was a bunch of little mess going on. Then out of nowhere, instead of doing a recount, they acted like they had the right count, and then they said that Biden won, and Trump just went hysterical. Trump couldn't believe it. He felt like he had been robbed. And I definitely understood that. So I know one thing that will happen let's just say Kamala Harris do win this presidential election, Trump is definitely gonna be screaming they cheated him. He gonna be screaming they cheated him from a high mountain. So they might as well go on to let Trump win this race, because if Donald Trump don't win this presidential election, man, he's definitely gonna be crying he's been robbed, and we know it. I love Donald Trump, but one thing about Trump is when he loses, he turns into a crybaby. You know what I mean? Trump will start crying. He's going to be all over the news. It's been rigged. That's why they already pressed charges on him, you know. And one thing I will say about Trump, and I want to kind of end this live on this note to figure out what you guys' opinion are. What you guys' opinion is about Donald Trump running for president, and he's a convicted felon. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about our next president possibly could be a convicted felon? You know what I mean? Donald Trump is going to be a president with an ankle monitor on. I ain't never seen that in my life, man. Donald Trump is going to be a president with on probation. And that's crazy right there, man. So I don't know, man, if they trying to sabotage Donald Trump presidential election, man, by bringing charges on Trump. They found him guilty. He's basically under law. He's a convicted felon, but they're still going to let him run for presidency. So if Donald Trump was to win the presidential election, at that time when he win a presidential election, man, he definitely would be a convicted felon. And I think that that's they should say that that's history. You trying to promote Kamala Harris, which she has the right to be promoted. But at the same time, if you sit back and look at the fact that if Donald Trump wins the presidential election this year, it's going to make history both ways. If Kamala wins, she's going to be the first African American woman to be the president of the United States in history. And if Donald Trump wins the presidential election, he's going to be the first president to win the election and was a convicted felon at the same time. So, either way it go, at the end of this election, we will have history made. On one side, it will be our first woman president, and on the other side, it'll be our first convicted felon president. So I'm not really for sure, how that's gonna go. But at the end of the day, that's the situation that we dealt with. And when you really look at the whole scenario, that just lets you know that to a certain extent, politics is a joke. They already know who the president gonna be. They just want us to stay involved, stay tuned in. It's basically a money grab. The ratings goes up on TV because you talk about the election. You have a lot of money exchanging hands. You have a lot of the presidential candidates going in and out these states raising funds. You have a lot of things being promoted, being sold. You have Trump for 2024 shirts, Kamala Harris shirts. You have banners and flags and everything being made and sold, and it's basically a money grab all over the United States until we have our next president. So, I understand that they vote a new president in every 4 years, but it's definitely a lot of money exchange hands, and Kamala Harris is shaking hands with a lot of people right now and making a lot of promises. How you think she go to these states and get funding? She go to a lot of these big powers that be in these different states and hear the things that they want done, and she probably make promises, get the money out of them, and she move on to the next state and continue to get her funding. But once she get in office, if she does win, a lot of those people that donated to her campaign is gonna want her to make good on stuff that she shook their hand and told them that was gonna happen. If it's just passing bills for them to build certain stuff, you got to understand just stuff like that. For them to, for her to sign into office, okay, let's say it's Arizona. She got the senator from Arizona running on her ticket. Second, she get in office, she passed a bill where the federal government is going to fund a new highway in Arizona. Once they do stuff like that, that means the union down there in Arizona can put to work maybe 25,000 of their union workers under a federal government contract where they're getting paid top dollar, and given they're building a freeway, they'll be working for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Stuff like that. These are promises they make when they go in these different states and shaking hands and getting this funding. And that's just, the campaign is just a money grab. A lot of promises get made, a lot of money exchange hands. And when you become president and you win the election, a lot of people who gave you money that sat down and ate with you for $50,000 a plate are going to want you to make good on the stuff you shook his hand on and said you were going to do. So y'all stay tuned. We definitely going to get back on here and talk about the presidential election tomorrow. I'm going to go live after work, and we're going to keep this pushing, man. Before you leave out this, before I go off the channel, I appreciate it if you give a like to the channel, subscribe to the channel. This is the Aaron L Show. We're going to go live every day. We're trying to get our watch hours up, and we're trying to get to 500 subscribers to get this channel monetized. I appreciate it if you support and help the channel. We will be live tomorrow, same time, different day. I'll holler at y'all next time.